I oftentimes refer to tools like the microbit as like the ultimate differentiation machine, right? Because you can come into a classroom either full of teachers or with kids, and pretty quickly after an intro, kids and/or teachers, they can be at totally different places in their experience with the device and still be experiencing success.
I think it's definitely it impacted our teaching because it's hands-on, right? It's a piece of technology, and that's kind of the direction that we're moving in society. And so for them to have another device in which they can become familiar with and learn how to use is just going to help them in the future.
Our school is really big on trying to use inquiry, and I feel like this is just supports that, just because we're getting away from like the teacher having all the knowledge, and this is definitely a case where my students are more proficient than I am. So it just really is another tool for us as we try to, promote inquiry in our classrooms.
Kind of thinking ahead, I think it'll be, because it's really engaging, as I'm seeing right now, they're all working, they're all engaged in something. It will bring something to students that it's not exciting for them, and it'll give them more of a hands-on tool to get excited about the topic that we're teaching, whether it's in computer science class or in a science class or in another class in the building, that they can actually get their hands into doing something versus just sitting passively and learning about it.
They're more willing to be risk takers, I think. And it's really cool, and it's also a nice thing to harness to kind of say, like, remember with the microbits, you guys took risks and you kind of saw how it worked, and it didn't work, and that was okay. Or it did work and it was super cool, So it's just neat to kind of see that spectrum of kids being like, oh yeah, I'll figure it out, I'll try it.
I like trying out new ideas, trying to fix things. Actually, one of my favorite things is when it doesn't work, because then I can try again, say, what did I do wrong? How do I fix it?
I think they like technology because they're comfortable with it, and it brings that technology piece into it, along with it does feel like a toy, and they don't even realize that they're learning. So that engagement piece just skyrockets.
It just kind of feels a little bit more fun, and it feels like I get to have contact with the technology world while still being able to learn.
There's a lot of really great instant gratification from it too.
Yeah.
They use the coding, then they see it in action. And so I think that kind of entices them to want to push themselves further in their exploring and how they can use it, which is helpful too.
I like how it's not just all digital, so you can actually push buttons and work with that, so you don't have to push a button on your Chromebook and it only appears on a screen. So it's a physical thing that actually has lights on it.
I really began to understand pretty quickly that this whole movement wasn't about necessarily the coding, although it can be and should be for some kids. It was really more about, again, those soft skills, the ability for the microbit to allow for when kids are working together to communicate with each other, to collaborate with each other, and the creative outlet for these tools are very strong for kids. And so for me, the microbit has provided me a teaching tool to bring those skills to the forefront for our kids.